Hello guys, how are you doing today? So just in case you don't know me, my name is Aline. I'm the founder of 700 Business and also an investor in the making and also a holistic therapist or a wellness consultant or a balance mentor. Anyways, just still kind of finding the name, but what I do is like wellness for founders. Okay, and my mission is that you find balance, that you find entrepreneurship to be something to add to your life, not to drag you down to all these negative feelings and whatever. Okay, so in this live today, it's about finding balance as a founder, but I decided to focus on finding balance in the mind. So if you look at Wheel of Life, there are 4 departments: professional, the health, the relationships, and also the assets department. So today I'm going to focus on balancing the mind. Okay, so why is it important? Why is it more important for me to talk about that? I could talk about all the other departments, but I think as when we have a balanced mind, it will affect all the other departments. So especially for us entrepreneurs, a balanced mind means that our businesses are flourishing and it's not taking up, all our energy, all our focus, all our life. Okay, so our businesses, our professional life, it's one part of our life. And when we have a balanced mind, we can just figure this out. Okay, cool. So that's awesome. So thanks for joining me, Mariana. Cool. So if you guys who is watching now or watching maybe the replay, if you can give me some hearts if you're on Instagram, or if you are on YouTube, please just leave your like and also just subscribe and follow. If you want to be a balanced entrepreneur. Okay, and cool. So let's start it. All right. So first I want to start with maybe an intention. So I don't know, I find that is really useful for everything in our lives. Like every time we start something, to start with an intention. And I want to invite you who's watching live to think about an intention. Like this live is about finding balance as an entrepreneur, finding balance as a founder. And what is your intention in this topic? So my intention for this live, my intention for you is that you find balance effortlessly. That finding balance is, it's really easy for you. So in this live, I'm going to talk about things that you guys told me the most, or like the underlying problems that you all sort of face somehow, which are negative thinking patterns, distorted focus or focus in general, overthinking, and fear. So these four elements, they really take the hit on the balance of your mind. Okay, so that's why I am gonna bring this today. Cool, this is my intention. And I also feel like guiding a very quick meditation every time. I just like, my intuition, I just wake up. So I better do it. That was not my plan, but anyway, I'm feeling like guiding you in a very, very quick meditation, okay? So cool, just take a deep breath in and out. Just imagine that your energy, or the energy from your heart, is going to expand to all our planet. Take another deep breath in and out. Imagine that this energy from your heart is going to expand to all the universe. Another deep breath in. Breath out. Visualize that you can expand to everything in the universe and beyond the universe. Another deep breath in. Now you're going to visualize that everything will turn into a white light. Everything beyond the universe, everything in the universe, you and our planet. Just notice what it's like to be grounded, to be focused, to feel safe, and also to be expanded at the same time. Okay, cool. So let's find. So first, why balance is so important. Keep talking about it all the time. So number one, because everything is right and everything is wrong. Everything is positive and everything is negative. Everything, go both ways, go to extremes. So it's really important for us to find the middle path. And this world we're living in at the moment, like with all this metaverse thing, with so much information, so much data, so many opinions all around with stuff, really there's so much that balance is a way of navigating all these extremes, navigating all this madness almost of our world, and finding your middle path, finding what is what is right for you. So the first extreme I want to talk about is the negative thinking pattern. So you guys tell me all the time, like about this negativity in the mind, and this is one extreme. And the other extreme is like when you fake the positive, or faking being positive. On the other extreme as well, there is like being delusional, like you don't know exactly like what you're doing in your life, or maybe you're just pushing something through that doesn't really maybe exist. And still on the other extreme, sometimes some people just don't care about anyone but what they want, so they will push through, they will just do whatever it takes in sort of a negative way. So we have two extremes here. One is a negative thinking pattern, and the other is like a positive, but maybe it's not the healthiest one. So talking a little bit about experience, I used to be very negative, like ridiculously a lot, really, really negative. And now when I think about why I used to be so negative, was because it used to give me some sort of feeling of safety, like, oh yeah, if I think that something bad is going to happen, then so when something good happens, well, I'll be happy, but I will always be negative. That's really, really low. So what is for you? So what is maybe the seed of your thinking pattern, or what is it giving to you? Because guys, it's really hard to create something positive from a very negative mental pattern or from a very negative thinking pattern. So you're going to give loops, you're going to go through the hardest paths, and maybe you're not going to get what you really want. So yeah, so the most important question is, where is it coming from? Where is all this negativity coming from? And I've seen like many levels. So sometimes it comes from our families, you know, like if they are really people who are negative, it's a bit more difficult for us to be different, because as you know, if thinking as a caveman person, because we still have all those, you know, very, very, very old ways of thinking, we are just like our tribe. And if our tribe is really negative, it's quite difficult for us to be positive, you know. And sometimes this negative patterns comes from traumas. And what is a trauma? Trauma is just like something that happens that it was difficult to digest. So maybe you haven't digested yet, but it's still there. It's almost like a wound, you know, an open wound. So not long ago, I fell off my, you know, I was skating and I fell on the floor, scratched my arm, and I got home, I washed it and protected it. So after a week, boom, everything was fine. Like it was healed. With a trauma is almost like that, but instead of cleaning and, you know, protecting it, we just, you know, keep stuck in that moment. So this is a trauma. So a lot of times negative thinking patterns come from that. Okay, so it comes from society as well. So I had some sessions on with some clients like this. Like some of them was really the negative thinking was coming from really the family. They were all like that. And another client was like was really bullied. So society thinking in a very negative way sort of influences our way. Okay, so I told you two extremes, and what is the balance here? So the balance is confidence. So a lot of times when we get stuck in one of these two ways, what we need is to come back to the middle path, and the middle path is confidence. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but now I'm going to talk about the second point for today, which is focus. Okay, like for us entrepreneurs and people, really, in general, we tend to, when we have a distorted focus, which is one extreme, we tend to be like, oh yeah, I want this. No, I want that. No, I want this. No, I want that. Like it was the same with me. Like when I started this project, like there was a really distorted sort of focus. Like I wanted to be a business accelerator, and then, oh no, mental health for founders. Oh no, help you achieve success. Anyway, it was almost like a bit of was a bit obstinated or a bit inflexible in my approach, you know. So, and when we have a distorted focus, that's what happens. So what is it with you? So what do you think it's your, maybe you're not focusing like with a clear vision. I don't know if you use like professional cameras, you can adjust the focus, and sometimes when it's manual, you've got to keep adjusting and adjusting, you know? And yeah, so this is one extreme. Like one extreme is distorted focus, when you want this and we want that and this and that, and never get to what you really want. And the other one is like being a bit obstinated, like, yeah, I want this, but it's not exactly, or pursuing the wrong thing. And what is the balance here? What is the middle path? The middle path is committed decision. And when you're not there in this middle path, which is committed decision, when you really decide that that's what you're going for, it's almost like a limbo, you know. It feels horrible. I've been there, of course. I've been there, and I like every now and then I start questioning, thinking like, is this really for me? Is this really what I want? But then when we start asking that, and if there's a bit of fear, then no balance. You start becoming unbalanced, right? So, and now the third point, which is almost like connected to the first one, is the overthinking. But like the overthinking is the negative part of it. Is like one extreme. The other extreme is something, I forgot the name of the author. He calls Thoughtland, is the author of a book called The Right It. I highly recommend it. Because when we are, you know, Thoughtland, so two extremes. The overthinking is like, oh, but this is gonna go wrong. Oh, that's gonna go wrong. Oh no, but and the Thoughtland is when we are in our minds and like, everything's perfect. Everything, you know, you see yourself in the future, that version that, you know, you are everything that you want to be, and you have everything you want to have, and you're doing everything you want. So, and it's funny because I've always been someone who would, and I'll tell you the difference, but I used to visualize a lot things that I wanted. Like, I would visualize that I have something. But then eventually I started overthinking, you know, and that's the big difference here. When we are overthinking, we just giving maybe excuses or finding problems where they aren't. And when we are in Thoughtland, everything's possible, everything is amazing, but there are two extremes. So what is the balance here? What is the middle path? It's a funny one. It's called an interesting reality. How? How do we do this? How do we create, you know, confidence? How do we really fully commit to our decisions? And how do we, you know, create this interesting reality? So everything is connected to the fourth point I want to talk about, is fear. So an interesting reality will come when fear is your mentor. So because fear is the component or the fabric of everything I told you before. And today when I was doing the, you know, the bullet points for this, I was like, that's interesting. What is my biggest fear? And I ask you, what is yours? What is your biggest fear? So for me, it was interesting. What is your biggest fear, Sarah? So for me, it was interesting to think that the answer I got was to waste my potential. You know, I've seen it with my parents. They got so much potential. They could be so much. My mom is sort of catching up, but my dad is still maybe not there. But it's like maybe this is my fear. And that's the funny thing, you know, because when we are afraid, we have two options. Either we use our fear as a mentor. It's like, okay, what's going on? Okay, let me change whatever I need to change. Or you panic. And when we panic, it's like, oh, there's a story, like when people are skiing, they need to keep focus on the path. Because if they because if they are afraid of hitting a tree, that's exactly what's gonna happen. So that's the first funny thing about fear. So whatever you are afraid of, it becomes like your tree, you know. Instead of focusing on a path, you focus on a tree and you hit it. So it's really interesting to ask yourself, what is your biggest fear? And then it can help you focus on a path, focus on, you know, feeling better. So, and also something that really helps is taking deep breaths. So you feel the fear, take a deep breath. It helps you reset your nervous system. And also it helps when you want to be confident, it helps to be like, and to understand that we're all figuring this out. We all are. So just make that your maybe mantra, you know, I'll figure this out the best way for me. And take deep breaths and make sure that that you really are able to find this middle path, because that's what balance is about, the middle path. So just reviewing here everything that we saw. So I spoke about 4 extremes, like the negative thinking pattern, and the other extreme is like being a fake positive, and the middle path is being confident. Sometimes we have a distorted focus, or maybe you just become obstinate, I think is the correct pronunciation. And the middle is a committed decision. And sometimes we're overthinking, and or sometimes we're just too much in our heads. What is the middle? Is an interesting reality. And sometimes we're too afraid, or sometimes we're just like pushing through. What is the middle path? It's like, it's really using a fear as a mentor. Okay, so take deep breaths and let's find a balance. Okay, so if it feels like you need something more, if it feels like all of that, maybe finding this balance is not that effortless for you, maybe it's a bit too difficult. So the next steps are, so I have 2 options for you. I have a group mentoring to find balance, or one-on-one sessions. So if you are on YouTube, just go to the description. If you are on Instagram, just go to the link in bio, you can do that. Okay, so if you guys have any more any questions to ask me about balance, something that is maybe being difficult about finding balance, just let me know. And so I can tell you, so I can answer now. So Sarah, do you have anything? If you have an answer now, otherwise you can always message me directly. Thank you, darling. If you can always message me directly, or if you are on YouTube, just comment or just direct message me here on Instagram. Not today. That's okay. Okay, cool. So that's it for today. If you're watching the replay, just remember to tag people you will know will benefit from it, and also share with other people you might think will benefit. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.